Hey there, pedagogy students. Well, today, by popular request, I'm going to go over Scarborough Fair again, a little bit more detail, a little bit slower, just to help you out with some of those chord changes. I'm also going to talk a little bit about the hammer-on and pull-off section for the pentatonic scale. Okay, also popular request. So these are in response to some of you having questions about the same topic. So Scarborough Fair. So hopefully you have it in front of you. I'll make sure that I put a link at the bottom of this video. And basically what you have is you have this D minor chord. Now I'll say one thing right away. When you play the D minor chord, make sure you use your pinky on this D. Okay? A lot of fingerings have a D with the third finger. But if you use your pinky on this song, it will make it a lot easier. Now, if you've been practicing it with the third finger, you might notice, for instance, when you go to the G chord, if you play the G chord like this, it also makes a difference. So, just think about this. If we had it with the third finger, you could use the second finger. What you do is you have to think about what chords that you are going to in the bass note that make it hard to switch. So what I would suggest is using your pinky on that D minor. So if you go real slowly, I'll filter down here to the right hand, of course, also. So there goes my face. Bye-bye. So in the right hand, you have P, I, M, A, M, I, your sextuplet. So you're trying to get that nice and even. So here's the way it goes, the first two measures, very, very slowly. If I go 1 and 2, that's still a little bit quick. Let me go a little slower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play about this speed, about 1 and 2 and 3 and. Then so the bass note is an A. And then you have A minor, back to D minor, back to A minor. Just notice the second finger does not have to get moved for these changes. And then I'm going to go to G, back to D minor, A minor, A minor, and now the C chord, third finger. That's it. So let's look a little bit closer at a couple of the more problem areas. So one of the problems is it's really not that difficult to go from the D minor to the A minor, because when you go to the A minor, this finger stays down and you just move the one finger up. So just remember that the D minor to the A minor is really easy because you don't have to lift your pivot finger. This is called a pivot finger, by the way, the one that stays where it is, and you move around it. Just like that. So as long as your thumb is on top of things, it shouldn't be that hard to go to the A minor, and usually it does. It goes D minor, A minor, D minor, A minor, D minor, G. Uh-oh. Okay, now when you go to the G chord, definitely the excrement hits the ventilators here. Watch this. So how are you going to get this first bass note? Well, that's how you do it. So if you're using the third finger on the D minor, watch how hard it is. So you have to go up right after you've played it. Not so easy. So that's why I'm using my pinky. And now I'm going to slowly start going over to that G with my third. Play that first, and then not even worry about that note. So a lot of times when you have chord changes on the classical guitar, they're a lot easier than you think they are if you do only the finger you need when you need the actual note. So once again, if I use a pinky, I'm going I'm gonna start thinking about that G. I need this note, and then these are open, and then I don't need that one. And going back is a little bit easier because you play the D open, and then just place one note at a time, and then you're back to A minor. Well, there's two of those. So anyway, the D to the G is one of the harder ones. Now, I'll show you another thing about the D minor to the G. Let's say you've been playing it like this all semester with the third finger, and you just can't get used to using the pinky. No way, not going to happen. All right, so let me show you how to do that. So, not going to happen. You leave the 3 there. You can use the second finger on the G chord like this. But as you can see, it's not quite as easy because I have to play the note, then go there. It still might be easier for you than trying it with a third finger like this, because the hop from there to there from the third finger is pretty hard. So that's why I'm using my pinky. Is this third finger really, is this kind of, he's hanging out not doing anything anyway. Might as well give him something to do. Start going toward the G. Here he goes, there he goes. Wow. As long as you get the bass note right, it's going to work. That's my little suggestion. Now, going to the C chord. Same exact problem. It's actually a little bit easier. So all the changes are easy, except the D minor to the G and the D minor to the C, which is at the bottom of the music. It's the third to last measure. Why do they always do that? Make it hard at the end. It's just the way that happens, okay? So, D minor with a pinky. Watch how easy. Here's the C chord. And I didn't put that first finger down. And I don't even need this note on the C chord. Well, I'll be doggone. I've been practicing that like this for like 2 weeks. Watch this. And then you try to rush and get the whole chord at once. You don't need the whole chord. You only need the bass note. Watch. So slow, slow, third finger, play the third finger, then the open, then the 1. You see how slow I moved? You have to move like a sloth. Slow as possible to get to the next thing you need. Nothing more than that. That's your little tip for the day. Okay, now, on to the pentatonic scales. So, a couple of people had suggestions on, or wanted suggestions on how to make the slurs, because they couldn't get a sound out of the slurs. So here's what I want you to do, is play it without the slurs first. So, I'm just going to use my thumb the whole time to make it super easy in the right hand. So I'm using 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 4, and then back down the same way. So, what's up with this, how you get the sound? Like you try to do this, and nothing happens. How come it's not coming out? Okay, well, part of it is that you think about like your pinky as kind of, well, not really a battering ram, but something has to move quickly. So when you do the slur, there has to be enough quickness in the finger to exert momentum. Okay? Mass times velocity. Here's your mass, velocity is speed. That's what's going to make the sound come out. What if you still can't get the sound out? It might be because your pinky is like stiff like that. You're not getting enough on it. So the more curved the pinky is on the tip of the finger, the more likelihood it is that you'll get the sound to come out. And then the third finger one is easier for most people, so maybe you should start with that one. Try it without the slur, just play the notes. The next string is the same. So the good thing about the pentatonic scale is the first one is the hard one, but then you have 3 easy fingers, the 1 to the 3 combination. So how do you get a slur out of 1, 3? Same thing. First note. Now I'm gonna make it go quick. sure you keep it even so it sounds like eighth notes like this. One of the biggest problems is getting the rhythm like this. And you want it even so that each note sounds like it's being plucked. Then when you get to the pinky, it's a little harder. Now it's not going to sound as loud as the pluck note, but you do hear it. If you can't hear it, it usually means that your finger is at the wrong angle, coming in like that, or you're hitting the wrong spot, for instance here. See, if you hit it too close to this part of the fret, the note just goes out. So it has to be right up against the fret. See how I'm doing that? Okay, and then on the pull-off, how do you do the pull-off? Okay, so let's say you have the top pinky note of the C, and you have the A. Now you have to have both fingers down. You both have to be on the string. So make sure this finger hasn't lifted up. Be down that note. Pretty firm pressure, and you're just going to pluck using the tip of that pinky. Watch this. I'm going to play the note, and I'm going to pull it down. How the heck did I do that? I'm kind of grabbing it with the tip of my finger. You might be able to see a little dent in my finger there. Okay, if you have a dent in your finger, that's probably a good thing. And you just kind of like pull it down fast. And that's the sound you get. You're actually plucking with this finger. Okay, so when you go up, you land like this. And when you come down, it's not the same thing backwards. It's a pull off, hence the name. Now, once you get the first string, it will be easier for you to get the next string down. But there's a problem, and we talked about it before. The string is in the way. So you can either land on the string like that, but you have to have that finger very, very pointed. If there's a nail on your finger that's too long, you can't do it. So you have to have your nails really short. And you just pluck the string down. Definitely hard to do, okay? So when you go up, try to get that sound even. And then down, pull each one. Now, the cool thing about a pentatonic scale is it has a great sound. At least I think it does. And you can also move it anywhere you want on the fingerboard. If you don't want to play it in fifth position and you want to play it in G, you just move it down. I messed those up, see, and it still sounded good. So you can still mess it up and sound good, okay? Now, if you really want to make it sound better, you can add vibrato to some of the notes. Like if you stay on one note. What I did there is I bended the note. So there's many, many tricks you can do to make this fun. Remember, it's just a stepping stone of a tool to have in your arsenal of how to play the guitar. Another thing I'll say, electric guitars are super easy to play slurs on, hammer-ons or down slurs, and classical guitars aren't too bad. Steel string acoustics are the hardest because the notes are just a little harder in your fingers. So if you can't do it on your guitar, well, we can't really get together with our friends as easily as we used to with this Corona crap going on. But maybe you have another guitar that you can somehow get your hands on and you can try it maybe on your ukulele if you got one of those around, or a banjo. Okay, so those are some ideas. As always, you can contact me with any comments about this video. But that's a pretty good description in depth of Scarborough Fair and the hammer-ons and pull-offs for your final exam. Coming up in the next couple of weeks here, we're going to have it due by, I think, Thursday the 14th of May would be a good idea. Okay? Have a great weekend.